You're good at what you do. You're the one people come to for answers, the person who spots the patterns everyone else misses. Your mind is always working. To the outside world, you look brilliant, capable, even successful. So why is there a nagging feeling of unhappiness you just can't seem to think your way out of? What if your greatest strength, your own intelligence, isn't just a gift, but the secret source of your deepest struggles? It's a strange paradox. Recent large-scale studies suggest that, on average, people with higher IQs actually tend to report being slightly happier. And yet, for a meaningful number of brilliant people, this isn't their reality at all. They experience a quiet, persistent sense of dissatisfaction, one that's especially confusing because, logically, they feel they should be happy. They can tear apart any problem and analyze any system, but they can't seem to debug their own feelings. Today, we're going to explore that paradox. We'll look at the real-life reasons why a powerful intellect can sometimes lead to suffering. And more importantly, we'll lay out a blueprint of practical strategies to help you find joy, not by dulling your mind, but by learning to live with it more fully. The writer Ernest Hemingway, a man known for his genius, but who also fought incredible inner demons, he once said, "Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know." And, that quote, it really hits home for a lot of people. It points to a hidden struggle, this sense that your own mind actually sets you apart, in a way that feels like both a gift and a curse. You see the world's flaws with painful clarity. You anticipate consequences, often with unnerving accuracy. And you just feel the weight of questions others seem perfectly happy to ignore. And this heightened awareness, it can absolutely come at a cost. Today, we're exploring that cost, and more importantly, how to stop paying it. One of the first hurdles for a sharp mind is its relentless, unforgiving nature. The very tool that helps you solve complex problems can easily turn on itself, creating a prison of overthinking and rumination. For you, maybe this looks like replaying a simple conversation for hours, dissecting every word, every facial tic, hunting for a hidden meaning that probably isn't there. Or it's lying awake at night as your mind cycles through 1,000 what-if scenarios about a project, a decision, or a future you just can't control. This isn't just being thoughtful, it's a destructive loop. Psychologists call it rumination, compulsively focusing on your distress instead of on solutions. An intelligent brain is a pattern recognition machine, but when you feed it anxiety and self-doubt, it starts spotting patterns of failure and rejection everywhere. A boss's casual comment gets analyzed for signs of disapproval. An unreturned text becomes proof you're being isolated. This overanalysis creates a constant, low-grade hum of anxiety that colors every experience. It can lead to analysis paralysis, where you see so many options and potential pitfalls that you freeze, unable to make a move. You're stuck, tormented by the endless possibilities your own mind cooked up. This isn't a personal failure, it's a potential hazard of a high-performance intellect. Your brain is just doing its job, analyzing, predicting, and solving. The problem is, it doesn't have an off switch. It applies the same critical eye to your own life that it does to a spreadsheet, and the human spirit isn't built to withstand that kind of constant judgment. So, what do? The goal isn't to think less, but to change your relationship with your thoughts. This is where mindfulness and a technique called cognitive diffusion come in. The idea is to stop identifying with your thoughts and start seeing them as just thoughts. They aren't you, and they aren't automatically true. They're just suggestions or old data firing in your brain. Here's a practical way to start. It's called the leaves on a stream exercise. Find a quiet spot for, say, 5 or 10 minutes. Close your eyes and picture yourself sitting beside a gently flowing stream. Every time a thought pops into your head, a worry, a memory, an idea, just place it on a leaf and watch it float away. Don't fight the thoughts. Don't judge them. Your only job is to notice the thought, put it on a leaf, and let it go. Over time, this practice creates a little bit of space between you, the observer, and your thoughts. You start to realize you aren't the storm in your head. You're the sky the storm is passing through. This shift can be incredibly liberating. It breaks the rumination cycle by taking away the power of your negative thoughts. They're no longer absolute truths that control how you feel. They're just leaves on a stream, floating by. A second major source of friction, that can be a tendency to wrestle with life's big questions. Things like death, freedom, isolation, and meaning. While most people grapple with these at some point, a highly analytical mind might start wrestling with them from a very young age. Because of your ability for abstract thought, you probably see the world's injustices, its absurdities, and all its contradictions in high definition. You truly grasp the sheer vastness of the universe, and you question where you actually fit in. You feel that sting of mortality, and you just wonder, what's really the point of it all? Now, while these are universal human questions, an intelligent mind, it can often feel their weight so much more acutely. This can show up as a sort of creeping sense of meaninglessness. Maybe you're great at your job, but you feel like just a cog in a machine you really don't care about. Or you see these huge societal problems and you feel guilty, or just powerless because you simply can't fix them. It's not just being cynical, It's really a kind of grief for an ideal world that, it just doesn't exist. And this can be incredibly isolating. When you try to talk about these things, you might just get blank stares, or those familiar cliches like, "Oh, just be happy," or "don't think so much," and that only makes you feel even more alone. You might also feel a bit of a disconnect from people who just seem happy with, surface-level concerns. This isn't arrogance, not at all. It's actually a real loneliness that comes from living in a totally different philosophical space. So, how do you fight a despair that comes from being too aware? The answer is to shift from searching for a universal meaning to creating personal meaning. The psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl built his entire therapy, which he called logotherapy, around this idea. He argued that our main drive in life isn't pleasure, but the pursuit of what we personally find meaningful. He said we can find it in 3 key ways. First, by creating something. This is all about what you give to the world. It doesn't, have to be a masterpiece. It could be writing elegant code, teaching someone a skill, or even raising a kind child. The key here, really, is to focus on the act of contributing, not the outcome. So, what can you give? And then there's experiencing something. This is about finding meaning by connecting with the world, through relationships, art, nature, or love. Instead of just analyzing a piece of music, let it move you. Instead of diagnosing the social dynamics at a party, try to genuinely connect with one person. These moments provide the emotional nourishment that logic can't. The third point is about the attitude we take. Frankl's most powerful point, was that when we can't change a situation, we're challenged to change ourselves. You can't solve all the world's problems, no, but you can choose your attitude. You can choose to be brave in the face of uncertainty, or compassionate in a world that can be cruel. Meaning, really, can be found in the way you choose to carry the burden of your own awareness. Now, wrestling with these questions, that isn't a sign that you're broken. No, it's a sign that you're deeply engaged with what it means to be human. The way forward, it's not about finding a magic answer, but using your intelligence to build a life that's rich with purpose and connection. A life that's truly meaningful to you. So the third driver of misery is this crushing weight of high expectations from others, and most of all, from yourself. If you were pegged as the smart one early on, well, that label can really become a gilded cage. Your identity gets, completely tangled up with your intellectual performance. Your value, in your own mind, feels absolutely tied to your ability to be brilliant, to be right, all the time. And this pressure, it breeds a nasty, paralyzing kind of perfectionism. It's not about a healthy drive for excellence, no. It's about a deep-seated terror of failure. You start to believe that any mistake, any flaw at all, will expose you as a fraud. And this is really the heart of imposter syndrome, which, runs rampant among high achievers. This can show up in a few destructive ways. Maybe you procrastinate on big projects because you're afraid the final product just won't match that perfect version in your head. Or your inner voice is a relentless critic, always tearing you down for the smallest mistakes. You get a 99 on a test, and all you can think about is that 1% you missed. You might even avoid new hobbies, because you just can't stand being a clumsy beginner. Now, this pressure also makes it, impossible to actually enjoy your successes. When you accomplish something, you don't feel joy, you just feel relief. And that relief is quickly replaced by, okay, what's next? I have to do it again, but better, to prove that wasn't a fluke. Your achievements stop being sources of pride and just become the new, higher bar you simply have to clear. It's an exhausting way to live. How do you break out of this prison? The answer isn't to stop caring, it's to cultivate self-compassion. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher on this, she says self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a good friend. It's about motivating yourself with encouragement, not criticism. And it actually has 3 parts. First, self-kindness versus self-judgment. This means turning down the volume on your inner critic. When you mess up, instead of, "How could I be so stupid?" try what you'd tell a friend. "Hey, that was tough. You did your best. And you know what? It's okay to make mistakes. That's how we learn." Perfectionism convinces you that you're the only one who struggles like this. But self-compassion, it reminds you that messing up and feeling inadequate, that's just part of being human. Honestly, everyone feels like a fraud sometimes. And knowing this, it really breaks the spell of isolation. So this actually links back to our first point. It's about noticing your negative feelings without getting swallowed by them. You can say, "I'm noticing a feeling of disappointment," which, is totally different from, "I'm a disappointment." That little bit of distance really gives you the space to be kind to yourself. Breaking free from perfectionism, it's about changing how you define your self-worth. It isn't based on your performance at all. It's inherent. And by embracing self-compassion, you really give yourself permission to be human. And that opens the door to genuine joy, both in your life and in your work. We're getting into some pretty deep stuff here. And if any of this is hitting home, it's because these are real struggles. Figuring out why your intelligence sometimes feels like a burden is the first step toward making it feel like a gift again. So let me ask you, which of these points has resonated the most with you so far? The overthinking, the existential dread, or the perfectionism? Share your experience in the comments. Reading what other people are going through is a powerful reminder that we're not alone in this. And your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you're finding this helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe, won't you? We're all about exploring the complexities of the mind, to help you build a better life. Your support, it really helps us reach more people who might be feeling alone in their brilliance. The fourth reason smart people can feel miserable is a specific kind of loneliness. It's not about being physically alone. Many intelligent people are introverts who love their solitude. This is the loneliness of feeling chronically misunderstood, even when you're in a room full of people. When your mind moves at a different speed, finding people you truly connect with is tough. Small talk can feel physically painful, like a performance that leaves you feeling drained and invisible. You crave deep conversations about big ideas, but those can be hard to find. It's not that others are incapable, but that the desire for that specific type of intellectual engagement isn't universal. Maybe your humor is too dry, or your references go over people's heads. Maybe you see a logical flaw in a popular opinion, and in your desire for clarity you point it out, only to be seen as arrogant. So, over time, you learn to code switch. You dumb it down, or hide your more complex thoughts to fit in. But that constant self-editing is exhausting, and just proves the point. You feel like your true self isn't welcome. Interestingly, while social connection is a key predictor of happiness for everyone, one study found that highly intelligent people may actually be happier with less frequent social interaction than most. This doesn't mean they want to be hermits. It suggests that for them, the quality of connection matters far more than the quantity. The pain isn't from a lack of people, but a lack of peers. So, how do you bridge this gap? You've got to strategically and consciously seek out your tribe. Your tribe. Well, they're the people who just get it. You don't have to translate yourself to them. They share your curiosity, and they're energized, not intimidated by your intensity. Finding them, though, probably won't happen by accident. First, go where your interests are. Find the real-life hubs for your passions. This could be, say, a university lecture series, a specialized book club, a makerspace, a chess club, or even a volunteer group working on a complex problem. Basically, go to places where intellectual curiosity is the default setting. Second, use the internet wisely. The digital world, it's a goldmine for niche communities, really. There are subreddits, Discord servers, and forums for just about every esoteric topic you can imagine. And these online connections, they can be incredibly meaningful, often leading to real-world friendships. Next, aim for quality, not quantity. Let go of the pressure to have a huge social circle, okay? Because one or two deep, authentic friendships, they can be way more nourishing than a dozen superficial ones. So really spend your social energy on the people who light up your mind. And finally, be the initiator. Don't wait for a deep conversation to find you. Start one. When you're with someone you think might be a kindred spirit, well, be brave. Share an idea you've been kicking around. Ask a big, open-ended question. It's a risk, yes, but the reward is that very connection you've been searching for. Finding your tribe, it changes everything. It validates your entire experience, and it reminds you that you aren't alone. Your people, they really are out there. Now we get to the deepest layer, an idea from the psychiatrist Carl Jung, the unintegrated shadow. For Jung, the shadow is the unconscious part of us, the place we shove everything we've been taught to deny or dislike about ourselves. Things like anger, envy, or selfishness. But here's the crucial part for highly intelligent people. The shadow isn't just for bad things. It also holds the positive traits our conscious mind has rejected. For some, this can include spontaneity, creativity, emotional vulnerability, and even healthy ambition. Many intelligent people build their entire identity around being the logical, rational one. They were praised for their intellect, not their feelings. They were rewarded for right answers, not messy emotions. So they pushed all the non-logical, emotional parts of themselves down into the shadow. They might start to see emotional expression as weak, intuition as foolish, and vulnerability as a threat. But what we push down doesn't go away. It stays active, running our lives from behind the curtain. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This is where so much of that inexplicable unhappiness comes from, that feeling of self-sabotage, of a sadness you can't think your way out of. That's often the shadow, asking to be seen. One way this shows up is through projection. We see the shadow traits we deny in ourselves, in other people, and we often have a huge, irrational reaction. Do you get intensely annoyed by someone you see as overly emotional? That could be your own repressed feelings being projected onto them. Or maybe you're harshly judgmental of someone else's ambition? Well, that could be because you've disowned your own desire to be recognized. Another symptom is feeling flat or inauthentic. When you cut yourself off from your shadow, you're actually cutting yourself off from a massive source of energy and vitality. Life becomes sterile and controlled. You end up living in your head, disconnected from your body, your instincts, and your heart. The path forward isn't to destroy the shadow, no, it's to integrate it. This is what we call shadow work. It's the courageous act of turning around, to finally face what you've hidden. First, notice your strong reactions. Pay attention to what triggers a big emotional response in you, whether it's good or bad. When someone makes you wildly angry or even deeply inspired, ask yourself this: what is it in them that's setting me off? Is there a tiny part of me that's, well, like that? Next, embrace the pointless. Why? Deliberately make time for activities that aren't, logical or productive. Paint, dance, play an instrument badly, be silly. The goal, you see, is to connect with the non-rational, the intuitive parts of yourself, because this is where your vitality is truly hiding. Third, practice radical honesty. Really look at the parts of your life where you feel stuck in a bad pattern. Ask yourself that hard question: how might I be unconsciously contributing to this? Now, this isn't about blame, okay? It's about taking responsibility for your whole self. Ultimately, integrating your shadow is the ultimate act of self-acceptance. For a highly intelligent person, it's the realization that true brilliance isn't just a powerful intellect. No, it's the integration of the mind, the heart, and the soul. And in that wholeness, in that complete self-acceptance, true, lasting happiness can truly be found. We have explored the complex inner world of the intelligent mind. From the prison of overthinking and the weight of existential questions, to the cage of perfectionism and the ache of being misunderstood. We've even looked into the depths of the unconscious to see how our hidden selves can drive our unhappiness. If there's one thread that runs through all of this, it's fragmentation, the separation of mind from heart, logic from emotion, the person you think you are from the rest of who you actually are. The secret misery some intelligent people feel is the cry of a soul that has been analyzed to death, but not fully embraced. But this isn't a message of despair. It's a message of hope. The solution isn't to be less intelligent or less aware. The solution is to become more whole. It's about using your incredible mind, not just to understand the world, but to understand yourself. It's about having the courage to show yourself compassion, the focus to find your tribe, and the bravery to face your own shadow. Your intelligence doesn't have to be a curse, it gave you the ability to understand these ideas, and now it can give you the ability to apply them. The path to reclaiming your joy is a journey of integration, of building a bridge between your brilliant mind and your vibrant heart. So I'll leave you with a new question, not why am I miserable, But how can I use my intelligence to build a more integrated, compassionate, and meaningful life? Starting today. Thanks for watching.